Hello and welcome to the show. Now, when you've got more than one camera, perhaps more than one presenter, it's important for the talent to know which camera is live and for the camera operators to know which camera is expected to be live next.
Yeah, if you're streaming anything from a studio like this to a live event, then you soon realise the importance of features such as being wireless and not only providing the traditional red for live, but also green for preview. Today's guest has been developing such a system for a number of years now, and we'd like to welcome Andy Slightham.
Hi Andy, good to see you.
Hello Matt. Hi Simon.
Hi.
Makes a change to see you again. It's a shame it's not live, but
Absolutely.
virtual is the way forward.
There
at the
you
moment.
go.
Indeed. So Andy, before we get into the details of the features, can you just give us some background on why tally is just so important?
Yeah, sure. I mean, going back to 2000, I suppose, prior to 2000, we were using OCPs and camera control units, and everything had tally on it, and it was a de facto. As soon as high definition came in with little vision mixers like the Anycast, we lost tally, we lost talkback. The cameramen had to do their own irises, which made them work a bit harder. We had wireless talkback, which we brought in, but we had no tally, we lost it. And obviously trying to do live events like music where cameramen couldn't hear you, it was terrible. You know, they were moving, and so we had to have some solution, and there wasn't one available. So I invented this basically so that cameramen knew when they were live and they knew when they were about to go live in a noisy environment. And also nowadays, it's so important with live studio stuff, you know, with like cookery programs. You so often see the camera cut to one side and the presenter is still talking to the old camera, which to my mind looks terrible. You know, it seems to be accepted quite a lot nowadays, but really it's not necessary. There's no need for it. Tally is available, and we've got it to cover all eventualities and all different formats.
So how do your products, let's say we're using your products properly, how do Tally Technologies products enhance the program quality, obviously using them in the right way? Yeah,
of course. Well, there's obviously two different sets of transmitters. We've got a rack mount, which goes into 19 track, or a desktop, and the transmitters are 8-channel or 16-channel, and they connect direct to the switcher, all vision mixers, and they either connect directly via the ports on the back or via a converter box in the case of ATEM, vMix, TriCaster, whatever. Right. And the receivers are wireless. They give red and green on the front, red and green on the back, and the time code out, so you can jam sync your ISO recordings. And we've also got extension LED lights, which go to the end of jibs, cranes, little PTZs. The range is up to 2 kilometers with the wireless. Wired are Cat5, Cat6 cables. We just about thought of every eventuality, and obviously the main uses of them are, you know, studio uses or football matches or sports events, music, festivals. You know, the range is endless.
As far as the number of camera operators you can roll these out to, is there a limit per event, Andy?
Well, not really. Each transmitter can go up to 16 channels, and we've got 4 frequencies per transmitter. So you could have 64 cameras at its maximum, which is plenty for any event. On the wireless side, they last for about 3 days once they're charged. So you've got no problems with them going flat. And as I say, you know, we've just about thought of every scenario. We've got converter boxes now for things like vMix, Blackmagic, ATEM. So you can get 10 channels of red and green out of your ATEM, and you can send it direct to other things which need tally. I mean, for example, Data Video do an ITC 100, which is a wireless talkback with red and green tally. A lot of people are using it with vMix, but you can't interface vMix to Data Video. There's no way of doing it other than our converter box, which takes the vMix data, converts it to open close contact, sends it out to Data Video. So it's not necessarily for our own tally. It can be used for anything. CCUs, OCPs, monitor walls, anything that needs tally information, and people are feeding it from ATEM or vMix or TriCaster. You can just use our converter box to do that with. We've got a new one we're building at the moment for Roland, because a lot of the Roland switches don't have tally ports, but they do have an RS232 port out, which is just a data port. So we're making a little converter box for the Roland, which will take the 232 data, convert it to open close contact, and then you can send that out to R switches or any of the others that you're using.
Okay.
And that Roland system, the RS232 thing, you say open close, that will also do preview and live. It'll do red and green.
Yeah, it will. I mean, in the case of Roland, they were one of the first switcher manufacturers to actually give you red and green preview back 8-9 years ago with the Roland V800, which is very successful. And then they brought out the V50, which for some reason or other didn't have a tally port. And so a lot of people were buying Blackmagic instead of Roland because they had tally systems. Some of the new ones don't have tally either. So for this, we've just built a little 232 converter, and that'll be on the market within about another 6 weeks, 8 weeks, hopefully, so that you can use some of the Roland switches on your tally-fed items.
You mentioned cookery programs earlier on, Andy. What other scenarios do you find tally being used in a way that we might not have thought it would be?
Well, a lot of it's on chat shows and stuff, where you've got a studio set in a theatre maybe, and you've got a chat show host and four or five guests, and they're all chatting away because all you can see is your cameras in the dark, and one of them's got a red light on, which obviously you're talking to. You don't know which one's going to go live next. All you know is that the red light will go out, and there's always a delay of maybe a fraction of a second before the next one. And if it goes to a jib or a crane or whatever, you often see a host looking left, right, just giving the old head twitch, not knowing. Whereas with a proper tally system, he can see there's a green light somewhere, and he knows that when that one red goes out, the green will go red, so you don't get that twitch anymore. You can literally follow it and flow.
It's not a surprise.
It just makes it generally so much easier and a cleaner, smoother program.
Absolutely. And did I hear you? I might have read it. I might have missed it. I could be completely wrong here. You've got some kind of interface with intercoms as well.
We've got some. Well, we're working on the intercom situation, but the problem is intercom needs a lot of bandwidth, and especially if it's wireless.
Right.
But we are working on that. We're also trying to put NDI into the transmitters so that we can extract the tally information from the NDI source. And obviously NDI is a big thing at the moment. And every switcher manufacturer is doing
something
different
for the future.
things. Yeah, it is the way forward. And obviously small PTZ cameras, they need tally as well. If they're going into a church or going into a permanent venue.
Absolutely.
They need to have tally lights so the people on stage know which one's recording the actual live feed at the time.
Yeah. So just give us a quick forward-looking idea, Andy, of what we can expect to see from Teletech in the next 12 months.
Well, obviously, we're trying to keep the cost down as much as we can, and we're trying to interface with as many different vision mixer manufacturers as possible, and also trying to keep up with with current technology. We don't really have any competition so far as other manufacturers are concerned, because most of them are running on things like Wi-Fi or broadband or Bluetooth, which gives you no range at all. And obviously our major thing with the broadcast is the range, and also means that we can punch through concrete walls, concrete floors, where other people can't. So I'm not too worried about that, but trying to put more features in, extra time codes, extra large tally lights for outdoor festivals, accessories, that sort of thing. We've now got probably 2,000 receivers out there, 2,000 customers now that need accessories. So we've got a few things coming up for them. Obviously just trying to keep up with what the customer needs, keep in touch with them, asking what helps them.
Yeah. And I guess you've been probably affected in the last 12 months by, there not being many live events as such. How are you seeing the market generally moving forward now?
It's been different. It's been very different. I mean, it's given us 12 months with no live events to work on the software. So we've upgraded our software 3 times in 12 months. We're now on version 11. And we've now got a reasonable amount of stock. We've now got UK dealers such as Pro AV holding stock in Hemel and in the Midlands. We've had a chance to work on European distribution channels, which is good. And now that we're coming out of lockdown, obviously with more live events coming, I think a lot of the people, the small trucks, the small event companies, the small broadcasters, they've all taken this time, this opportunity to upgrade their facilities and get ready for when live events are happening. So sales haven't been that bad. They haven't hit us that hard. And I think a lot of manufacturers have managed to do very well with no exhibitions, covering it with people like yourselves with social media. And, I don't think sales have been too bad for most. And I just wonder whether exhibitions will come back now, because we've been doing them for 15, 20 years when there was no internet and there was no broadband, there was no other way of marketing. So we needed exhibitions. We've just had a year of none, and the bottom line hasn't really been hit that bad. And so I just wonder whether they ever will come back like they did before.
Thanks, Andy. Well, we've got one coming up in the summer, July 6th at Media City UK. Hope we'll see you there. Be great to see you and all of our viewers up there. So for more information, go to kitplusshow.co.uk. This will be the first face-to-face KitPlus show being held at Media City on July the 6th. And finally, many thanks to Mediaproxy, who support us, and you can find out more about them at mediaproxy.com. Thanks again, Andy. Great to see you.
Thank you.